remember Jimmy Carter and the peanut farm. And then think about Trump and Trump International, or think about the crypto scam that's going right now. Trump has basically said, here's my bank account, babies. Please dump money into this. Melania has one. The kids have their own. You didn't say anything. Jared Kushner got $2 billion of investment from the Saudis while Trump was in office. Do you think they did that because they thought Jared Kushner was the best business professional?
And believe it or not, folks, that's not even half the scams, or bankruptcies for that matter. You can always rely on Fox News' Jessica Tarlov to get Judge Jeanine and co. all riled up as they try and pretend that they care about things like due process and the rights allegedly reserved to not only migrants seeking asylum, but American citizens, who have also found themselves persecuted under the barbaric measures taken by the Trump administration. There is a new lawsuit, and maybe you'll care about this because it's about an American, from the National Immigrant Justice Center. Here we go. Here's an American. There are 22 people that they're saying in the state of Illinois who have had their rights violated since Trump came into office, including a 54-year-old American who was born in this country, who had his stuff taken away, was thrown in a van, handcuffed, took 10 hours for him to be able to get out of there. Now, they had no reason to
got out. Yeah. Isn't that the point?
You know what? Then I'm going to throw you in jail for 10 hours and see how you feel about it.
You know what? Who are you fighting for? Are you fighting for the criminals?
I'm fighting for an American. Right. Actually, if they, why can't you accept that? If mistakes are being made, that they should do a better job of this. ICE even had a declaration that came out last night.
You let them all in. What are you talking about? Do a better job.
We can always do a better job. I agree. But that doesn't negate the job that's being done.
Okay,
I'm
and
not
how about the apartments?
I'm just saying, if you don't believe in due process anymore, then be honest about it, because that's what's going on here.
The only due process I believe in is the legal way to enter this country.
But claiming asylum is legal.
Yeah, well, only if you do the legal process.
But they tried, and then they're being disappeared from their court hearing.
They're being disappeared. Americans are being disappeared.
The liberal voice of sanity on the Murdoch Manipulation Network found a way to not only school Judge Jeanine on the legal system regarding those who are seeking asylum in the country, but go on to highlight the drastic repercussions of Trump's immigration enforcement, in which American citizens have found themselves facing persecution.
There is a good reason that everybody is saying alleged members and suspected members, because these people, as Dana said, have not gotten their due process. And there's an immigration attorney who has been posting about her client who was supposed to show up in court on Thursday, has been disappeared since then, is allegedly on this plane, and this person
what was he supposed to show up in court for?
He had a legitimate asylum claim. He had tattoos.
Legitimate asylum. It's not legitimate until a judge says it's legitimate.
But if you make it so that that person can't see a judge, then you're denying them their due process.
I don't know if I buy
What Trump is essentially saying is that the asylum system, as we know it, is done. That you can show up here and you're fleeing from persecution in Venezuela, for instance, and you don't get your day in court. So if that's what it is moving forward, then just say that. Be honest.
But you know the asylum system has been gamed.
Sure,
it is completely exploited by criminals.
Most don't even show up, and most don't get approval.
You can throw whatever you want at the wall. I'm still going to finish what I'm saying.
That's just facts.
No, but it isn't facts.
Because we should build a wall.
They're illegal. They don't belong here in the first place if they weren't invited.
Then just be honest and say it's not about getting criminals out. It's about getting everyone out who is here illegally. That we can pick up anyone. And that's not Whoopi Goldberg or Joy Behar. Obviously, they're not getting
deported. You do the worst first. That's what we're doing.
But why is this person?
See, one person.
No, but this is the first flight. Why can't you just wait to let everyone get processed?
So you agree?
Yes, it's the first flight of deportations of this
I'm going to give you this, Jessica. I'm so glad you agree with what's being done. You just have a problem with how it's being done. So we're making progress.
And if you thought this wasn't enough to raise the decibels, then take a listen to what happens as the conversation pivots to elected officials using their position in office to enrich themselves and their family members. Yes, really, this is a debate her co-hosts willingly had regarding a man who did nothing but use his position in office during his first term to enrich not only himself, but his family members to the tune of billions. But I'd say it's worth a watch indeed.
I just want to be clear. I draw the line at arson. And welcome back, Jesse. But I'm listening to him talk about how we're the crooks and we're the ones profiting off of the office. Did you say anything about Trump International during Trump's first term and every emissary foreigner who's coming into town, wants to curry favor with Trump is staying there.
What was he supposed to do? Close it down?
Yes,
when he's
you were.
president?
Actually, remember Jimmy Carter and the peanut farm? And then think about Trump and Trump International, or think about the crypto scam that's going right now. Trump has basically said, here's my bank account, babies. Please dump money into this. Melania has one. The kids have their own. You didn't say anything. Jared Kushner got $2 billion of investment from the Saudis while Trump was in office. Do you think they did that because they thought Jared Kushner was
but the difference
the best
is, Jessica,
business professional?
The difference is they were already in business.
And you have no idea when Ocean Justice opened either. I'm just saying.
Ocean Justice? You think
you are
that's
not
a legit
defending
business?
this.
Ocean Justice?
Yeah, I do think there are legitimate businesses and charities that clean up the ocean. It is a problem with the pollutants. I'm just saying that it looks so hypocritical for you to say just because Trump has been taking money from people for decades doesn't mean that he doesn't need to play
He's
by
in
any
business.
But
What
he's
are you
not
talking
in business.
about?
He's the president.
Democrats are stealing our money and giving it to each other.
Are you kidding me?
Donald Trump had a hotel.
Do you think? Yes,
Come on.
that he had foreign people.
I mean, John F. Kennedy was offered citizenship by the people of Ireland because they loved him so much, and he refused to take it, saying that even though it didn't violate the letter of the Emoluments Clause, it violated the spirit of the Emoluments Clause. And Donald Trump converted the presidency into an instrument for self-enrichment. He raked in millions of dollars from the most corrupt governments on earth, who came in with specific favors that we document in our report that they got from Donald Trump. I beseech my colleagues, I will read any book, any magazine, any speech you've given that you want me to read. Read this report and come back and tell me if you think Donald Trump did the right thing in converting the White House into a for-profit operation. No other president in American history has come anywhere close. And you ask why he's so determined to stay in office that he would unleash violence against his own vice president, the brother of your colleague, of our colleague. Why would he do that? It's because it was a money-making operation, and it was a great business grift for a guy who went bankrupt several times. And yet, out of some misguided partisan loyalty, you're going to stick with him. I don't even know why you stick with him. He was a Democrat longer than he was a Republican. He wanted to run for president on the Reform Party. You guys have been taken over by an absolute con man.
And the thing is, aside from the usual often solemn voice of reason on the network, has anyone else noticed that even some of Trump's most trusted cheerleaders are losing their patience/tolerance for snake oil? First, there was Maria Bartiromo, who sparred with Trump's Secretary Treasury and basically had enough of the endless excuses he offered as a means to try to deflect blame from Trump regarding his tariffs.
They have substantial tariffs, and as important as the tariff are some of these non-tariff barriers where they have domestic content production, where they do testing on whether it's our food or products that bear no resemblance to safety or anything that we do to their products.
See, these are the things that people are really worried about, because they first thought it was just about trade. Then they thought it was just about fentanyl. Then after that, we talked about, well, maybe it's currency manipulation, and maybe it's now you're talking about food testing. And when I bring up the issue of clarity, that's what I'm talking about, and that's what I'm hearing from corporate America, that we're not sure where this is going, but of course we will get resolution on April 2nd, rather.
Then there was the interview with fellow Kennedy board member Laura Ingraham, in which Ingraham wasn't exactly her usual self, meaning she wasn't just there to inflate Trump's ego and tell him what he wanted to hear. When the topic pivoted to Canada, she actually somewhat pushed back.
You're tougher with Canada than you are with some of our biggest adversaries.
Only because it's meant to be our 51st State. And
okay, but
but listen to this for a second.
We need their territory. They have territorial advantage. We're not going to let them get close to China.
Look,
right?
I deal with every country, indirectly or directly. One of the nastiest countries to deal with is Canada. The people that, now this was Trudeau, the people that good old Justin, I call him Governor Trudeau, his people were nasty, and they weren't telling the truth. They never told the truth. You know that, they'd say, well, we don't charge. Well, they do. They charge tremendous. They charge tremendous. And if you look at dairy products, what they've done to our farmers, I'd go up to Iowa. I'd go up to different places, Nebraska. and they would always complain about Canada, how they get ripped off. Do you know that Canada has a 250% tariff? 250. Nobody knows that. They charge us numbers that are crazy.
But
we have a very big deficit with Canada, and there's no reason. Much more. We have much more. Just so you understand, we subsidize Canada, and I like Canada. I love Canada. I love Wayne
now
Gretzky.
the Liberal guys.
I love his wife.
The Liberal Party is going to win now in the next election, most likely. And they were down and out. But isn't that going to make them more hostile to us and possibly
I'd rather deal with a liberal than a
for
conservative.
China closer to Canada, and that would really put us in a bind.
The conservative that's running.
Now, I'm by no means saying that Fox News has turned over a new leaf, but when instances like this occur, it is nothing if not indicative of an administration that is failing at every turn.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.